The new robots look just like us. They blink, they smile, they imitate every detail of being human. But the more realistic they become, the more they disturb us. This feeling isn't random. It's a leftover from our ancient past, an instinct that once kept us alive and still lingers today, warning us about things that seem human but aren't. Psychologists call it the Uncanny Valley, the sudden drop from familiarity into discomfort. It's the eerie unease we feel when something looks almost human, but not quite. A digital face that blinks a little too slow. The eyes are there, the mouth moves, yet something feels hollow, as if the soul itself is missing. But what if this reaction didn't begin with machines or special effects? What if it came from a time when humans weren't the only humans on Earth? A world where the familiar could still be fatal. The Uncanny Valley, what it means. The idea was first described by Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori in the 1970s. He noticed that people liked robots more as they looked more human, until a sharp drop. When they became too human, empathy turned into fear. Mori called that dip the Valley of the Uncanny. The same effect appears with hyper-real CGI, lifelike puppets or prosthetics. Something that looks human but moves unnaturally triggers instinctive revulsion. It's not logical, it's automatic, a reflex buried deep in the brain. Humans are wired to notice the smallest inconsistencies in faces. Even a 1 millisecond delay between eye and mouth movement can break trust. How the brain detects faces. Our visual cortex has a specialized region, the fusiform face area. It identifies faces faster than any other pattern. From birth, human brains tune to symmetry, eye spacing, and movement. When something barely fits that template, the brain hesitates. It's familiar enough to recognize, but not enough to believe. That hesitation feels like fear. Cartoon faces bypass it because they are clearly symbolic. Perfect realism confuses it because it challenges identity. That's why a Pixar character feels warm and a lifelike android feels wrong. When the face fails, everything beneath it feels uncertain. Ancient fears never die. No instinct this strong appears by chance. Evolution shapes fears that serve survival. Our ancestors learned to fear snakes, fire, and the dark because it kept them alive. Maybe the same happened with faces that were almost, but not quite human. Imagine a world without cities or safety. A fire flickers in a cave. You hear footsteps outside. A figure steps into the light. Upright, humanoid, but slightly off. Longer arms, heavier brow, the eyes just a little too far apart. That moment of tension, of not knowing, could have meant life or death. Across thousands of generations, that alertness became automatic. A planet of many humans. For most of history, Homo sapiens was not alone. We shared the Earth with cousins, Neanderthals, Denisovans, Homo erectus, and others now extinct. Some were close relatives, some were distant branches of the same tree. They hunted the same prey and used similar tools. To meet them was to meet something both familiar and alien, a reflection distorted just enough to cause unease. Fossils show that Neanderthals were shorter, stronger, and built for cold climates. To early Homo sapiens, they must have looked both human and wrong. That recognition, the half-human face, could have triggered ancient caution. It wasn't fear of monsters, it was fear of almost us. The face as a survival tool. Humans depend on reading faces for survival. A face reveals emotion, intent, and health in a fraction of a second. A mother reads her baby's face to detect hunger or fear. A hunter reads the tension in another's jaw before a fight. Now imagine seeing a face that almost follows the same rules, but not quite. The eyes don't match the emotion. The smile doesn't reach them. That uncertainty would trigger alarm, a biological early warning system. In an age without language, hesitation meant caution. Caution meant survival. Death, disease, and decay. Another theory links the uncanny valley to disease avoidance. Before medicine, one infected individual could destroy a tribe. Pale skin, rigid movement, or lifeless eyes might signal illness or death. Our brains learned to avoid faces that carried the mark of decay. A corpse looks human but isn't alive. That boundary, almost alive but not, is deeply unsettling. It's why horror movies use gray skin, unnatural movement, and hollow eyes. They tap into a memory older than fear itself. Recognizing the difference between the living and the dead wasn't philosophy. It was survival. A wrong face might mean contamination. A wrong movement might mean danger. The other human. As humans spread across the globe, they met others like them, but not them. Neanderthals in Europe, Denisovans in Asia, possibly other unknown species in Africa. Some interactions were violent, others intimate. We know from genetics that Homo sapiens interbred with at least 3 other species. Neanderthal DNA still lives in modern humans. The uncanny valley might have been part of that paradox, fear and attraction in one. The face of another species could trigger curiosity as much as caution. That tension between recognition and rejection is the same one we feel today. Everywhere Homo sapiens went, other humans disappeared. Maybe that instinct, to distrust what looks almost human, played a role in their extinction. It only rewards what survives. Modern echoes of an ancient fear. The modern world rarely reminds us of those dangers. We don't share the planet with rival species anymore. And yet the reaction remains. Today, the faces that trigger it are artificial. Digital avatars, androids, deepfake videos. They move and blink almost like us, but not quite. Our ancient circuitry fires again, mistaking illusion for threat. Artificial intelligence now recreates human features pixel by pixel. The more lifelike it becomes, the more disturbing it feels. Even without predators or rivals, the instinct survives. It tells us that some boundaries aren't just cultural, they're biological. A reminder that the uncanny valley may not be a glitch in perception, but a memory, an emotional fossil left in our nervous system. Conclusion: the mirror that looks back. The uncanny valley isn't only about fear. It's a reflection of how precisely we define being human. That fragile line between empathy and unease is our evolutionary fingerprint. It protected us in prehistory. It shapes our art, our technology, and our horror stories today. And as machines learn to imitate life, that old instinct wakes again. A reminder that, deep down, we can still tell the difference between what feels familiar and what our instincts quietly fear might harm us. The uncanny valley reminds us that recognition and fear share the same root. If you liked this video, subscribe for more like this.